on to part 3. Hillary and I, she's teaching me how to do acrylic. If you haven't already, check out part 2 and part 1. It all builds. You're gonna love it. Let's do it.
We're gonna do some acrylic. Let's talk a little bit about brush care.
Brush care.
Well, usually when we get a new brush, it has some starch in it.
Yeah, to keep it like that beautiful shape.
This one's childproof. Got it. So I have a glove on, so we're not going to get the oils in there, but we're just going to kind of break up that starch. You can see it getting powdery right there.
Dandruff.
Yeah, it is like dandruff. And this is the one and only time I'm going to tell you to get in there. You want to get this starch kind of worked out. So another thing I'll do is I'll brush it carefully on a dust-free surface to kind of fluff it out. You can kind of see it. Do you see that?
Oh, wow.
So
There's a lot in
there is a lot, and every different brand has different amounts, but this is what you want to get out, or your brush will kind of feel like glue.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
And this is Kolinsky hair.
Yeah.
So difference between Kolinsky and synthetic.
Synthetic, you're going to have a smoother application. It's going to work more universally with different monomers. These are just my opinions.
Yeah.
But that's what I found. Also, fluffing through like this, there is a lot in this one. It's going to help you pull out any loose, or at least catch any loose. You don't want to pull hairs out. You're going to ruin the ability for it to clamp. But if you have a rogue one, you can always gently nip at the base. All right, I know this panics you, but
I panicked a little bit.
I'm going to use, the truth is, nail techs are going to reach for what's at their station.
Yeah.
And so they're going to use their nippers, their scissors. But if we're being careful and taking care of things, we're not running into this a ton. Plus, this is less than like a skin cell. And all I'm going to do is slide down to the base and just clip. That's it. That's it. I'm not, it's like one hair. Don't cut more than one hair.
Okay, I can get on board with that. I'm dying inside, but one hair.
We're being realistic here. You nail techs know what I mean. I never had a set of real scissors at my desk for 18
Well, some people have like those little stork ones for cutting form notches.
Oh, okay, those are great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to find those. But I'm good. I'm good.
With pouring your monomer into a dampened dish, you want to pour like portioned so that you don't have a ton left over, because whatever you put in this, you don't want to put back in your original packaging because that can contaminate or cross-contaminate. So when we pour, a lot of times we're worried about spilling our liquid gold that costs us money. Yes. So I like to take my brush. So we're going to make contact with that metal and we're going to pour, and it's going to follow it into our dampened dish without spilling. Wow. All right, this is still part of prepping your brush. You want to fully submerge all the bristles into your dampened dish so that they fully get saturated. Okay. And when I go down in, I'm kind of pressing it on the bottom.
At an angle.
So it's laying flat. I'm not like pushing the tips into it. I almost come in and lay the belly or the body of it flat in there. That's how we're going to pick up liquid. And then when we come out, we're going to just go straight up the side. So it looks like this when I'm grabbing liquid. I'm going to go all the way in towards me, and then I'm going to come straight up away from me. And the longer we linger, the less liquid we'll have, so we can pick up a smaller pearl. The less we linger, more product, so we can pick up a larger pearl. Okay, I'm going to wipe that off, and then I'm just going to get the excess and twist it so that we leave it at a nice clean point while we set it to the side.
Something about a new brush.
So nice. Storing this, it matters. You don't want to set things like this because your monomer and everything's sliding down into, and we have the glue in here. Yeah. If you ideally you want something to cover this, but not super tight, like a tight plastic thing's gonna almost like melt to the brush. Yeah. So you want to slide something over that will cover it. Okay. Sometimes I just take a little dropper and cut the end off, and it's like a little bulb around it. And a lot of us have stations where we can slide it this way or lay it flat in your like cool dark drawer is great. Just don't do this, and don't leave it out at your station uncovered. Cross-contamination. We run into a lot this habit of keeping art brushes and even like our favorite tools, and we might stick it on the side for our next client, and we leave it at our station. But then we didn't use those tools, so we just continue to leave it at our station, which means they're getting cross-contaminated with every client. So anything you leave out on your station needs to be cleaned and disinfected between every service. So I prefer brushes, and they seem to last longer, tucked away in a cool dark drawer, laying flat, clean, ready to go. Yeah. And then you actually have to clean what you use. Versus if you leave this out with your tools, sometimes I see the diamond hand files, nippers, and then it all needs to be cleaned even if you didn't use it.
So not even only sanitation, but also just like excessive clutter.
Yes.
Like remove the clutter.
It cleans your mind up so you can work efficiently, in my opinion.
Oh, and your guest.
Oh, yeah. It's
You know,
so
if you're
much
all
nicer.
like cleaning is important, like it should start with the most sterile.
Absolutely. And you can go ahead and tell them it's okay to let your clients see you clean during the service.
Please.
You know, like clean, even sweeping things off if you want to pause. It's not going to necessarily add a ton of time, but it's going to increase the quality. So we're going to lay down a form. I like to take them and you can put that underneath there. That's going to be where product is pushed down on so it can secure it a little more. I like to do a little tear apart. Now there's a couple things you can do. I like to wiggle it so that if you're looking down the barrel, you can see kind of your C curve happening there. Okay. Some people like to pre-pinch this very end and then fit it, and some like it open. So do practice.
And you have a video, right? You have an online training about forms. So if you want to know more about forms, because that's its own beast.
It is.
We'll connect you with it.
Okay, I'm going to slide you to the side. When I'm fitting your form, it's important to not be pulling these tension from side to side because that is what like stabs underneath.
And that can hurt.
It hurts bad, especially if we have a very sensitive hyponychium. You know? So what I'm going to do is hold on the two sides. I'm actually going to push it together a little. I'm going to slide under one and then kind of let it curve, slide under the other corner. And then I'm going to attach it and rotate my hand and pinch together.
I think this is the first time you've ever done my nails. You are so gentle.
I like to be gentle.
She's gentle.
So we're checking from the side here. We're making sure it's coming out flat. We don't have any gaps looking down the barrel. If you feel like your skin here on the side is pushing or not letting this sit flat, you can take like the stork scissors and just do a tiny little slit.
Right there.
Yeah, for the skin that's extra fluffy on the side. All right, and then you do want to pinch it together and really secure it so that we're not popping open. I like to do one form at a time. If you go through and place all the forms and then you're trying to work underneath and they're setting their hand down, these are going to get shifted.
Oh, wow.
And then you are fixing them again already and you're losing time. Now, according to your acrylic system, you may have a primer, you may not. Stick within your system so that you're following everything, because if you run into any product breakdown, the brands can't help you if they don't know what you're using. And brands want their product to be successful.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
But if you're mix and matching, you might be causing product breakdown. It's a good thing. Some people like one prime, some like two. Follow your instructions. On this baby, we're going to build you out square. Square. So I'm going to focus on your free edge pearl first, and then we'll go in and make sure we have your stress zone or apex and then cuticle zone. So you can do that in 3 balls or 3 pearls. So free edge, stress, cuticle, or you can go in and do free edge and stress and cuticle together, or when you get really comfortable with acrylic, you can do it all in 1 pearl. But you have those options, and I like to work from the tip of the nail back towards the proximal fold or cuticle. So I'm going to go in, and then you can just pat or place it, and when you pull out, turn it around. If it goes smooth like that, you're going to be okay. If it goes, let me grab some, where it stays chalky, and powdery, that's not going to work for you. It's going to cure really quickly. With acrylic, you are working against time.
Is it better to, you're looking for the perfect ratio, but for new acrylic users, is it better to have one more wet or more dry?
It's going to depend if they panic, how much it moves versus not. And I will say, I have a sheet on my website like where you can literally practice laying down the different size pearls. All right, let's go. To make sure there's no excess, I'm going to place this partially on the nail plate and release. I'm just going to slide over and slide it over. I'm mostly using the body of my brush, just like when we talk about bits, like how we have like the tip or zone 1, then the body in there. We're doing the same thing with our brush, and my goal here is to like just guide it to the shape we need.
very much like your bits, using the full barrel and not
Yeah.
poking at it.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to come in and beachfront this. That's just like pressing this at an angle so that I don't have a huge cliff to pull my other pearls across. All right, I'm going to grab a larger pearl for the stress zone, and I'm actually going to pull it down over that free edge. This feels really wet. Here's another trick. Flip it and pull some liquid off.
Okay.
And then we're going to lay it down. I'm going to focus on this upper line to smooth it down. And then I'm going to flatten my brush out and pull it.
So talk to me, you can do soft gel tips, you can do structured gels, you can do basic regular polish manicures, you can do acrylic, you can do dip. When would you use acrylic versus gel?
So it's going to depend a little bit on how your client wears their nails. Acrylic's going to be more rigid. It's more of a rigid product. It has a ton of structure. So if you have somebody who's super hard on their nails, acrylic's going to be an option so that you can support what they're up to. And always know if there's product breakdown to find out what's going on. You know, I had a client who I didn't know had switched jobs, and she was using her thumb to slice open every box, and her thumb would come back like broken or cracked, and I was doing everything I could, switching up product, like trying to figure it out. And then she told me, and I'm like, oh, well, if you do that, probably no product is going to hold up. So at that point, it's her choice. Like, if she's okay with like a break or repairing or something, that's great. But I had to like kind of sort through what was going on.
If you like content like this, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe.